Imagine embarking on an unforgettable journey through the heart of Italy, where every turn is a new treasure and every moment is filled with beauty and culture. You start your adventure in Rome, the eternal city. Next, you venture into the rolling hills of Tuscany, where the air is perfumed with the scent of vineyards and olive grove. The journey continues to Venice, the floating city of canals and gondolas, after Five Earth and Milan. But your Italian adventure doesn't end on land. It's about to get even more extraordinary. A magical journey through Italy, topped off with a house music festival on Costa Cruise. Dance under the stars, relax in style, and discover exclusive performances on deck, all while sailing to some of the most beautiful destinations. There are 3 packages to choose from. Sailing dates are from September 24th through the 28th, 2025. Book yours now at festivaloncruise.com.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Heidi's house. This is your host, Queen Bee Heidi B. And today's featured guest is an artist, music producer, DJ, Sweet Georgie. I am so excited to hear more about his house music journey. So, are you ready? Then let's go. So, here he is. Sweet Georgie is in the house.
Hey, how y'all doing?
I'm doing very good now. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm really glad that you are able to join this podcast about global house music culture, where we interview DJs, artists, music producers, influencers, event organizers, radio personalities, dancers, anything to do with the global house music culture. And I'm very happy and grateful that we have you joining in here.
Super glad to be here.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Just in the middle of actually mastering a new song, but I had to stop and just kind of definitely deal with the ears. Sometimes you get overload on the ears, so yeah. It was a good time to stop and actually do this.
Wonderful. Yeah, I feel you on that. Sometimes we just have to have a little bit break for those ears of ours. They are tools. They are so precious. We have to take good care of them. That's absolutely true in this business, what we are doing and involved with. So, as you know, Heidi's House is a podcast that is exploring global house music culture, and it's kind of a snapshot kind of podcast that is presenting each featured guest and tells a little bit about their house music journey so far. So, without further talk, I'm gonna go straight ahead to the first question that goes, tell us a bit about who is Sweet Georgie.
Well, just to be fair about it all, I'm a DJ first, producer second. I started out way back in '84, so just kind of like playing around with music as a kid, because I'm only 52. But yeah, I mean, I started out as kind of like interested in DJing, interested in the music, really interested in the house music culture that was coming about, and jumped on it. Kind of a dancer, but not as much these days.
Yeah. Cool.
Bones are a little different than they used to be. But yeah, I mean, I always say I'm DJ first, producer second. So I'm definitely not gonna say that I don't really look at as producing as a big deal, but it is a big deal. It's just that I'm a DJ first.
All right, so that's the closest to your heart, so to say. And I love the fact that you also have that dancer in you, actually, because I think that will make an when you think about DJs and artists, music producers, and so forth, if they have the love for dance, it also reflects and shows in their music. It usually makes people dance too. If you're vibing to that, that's a great thing, you know. So yeah.
I was, to be fair, I wasn't the best dancer in the world, but in my heart, I felt like I was the best dancer on the floor. So
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. And now, when you said that you started in 1984, it means that really you were there in the first wave, so to say. Now we are celebrating the 40th anniversary of officially titling it house music. Obviously, there were things before that and so on, but you are really blessed in that sense that you were able to experience that in your youth. And I know that it was originally really music for very like for young people going to the clubs and so on, so very innovative at that time also, and something very new. And obviously you caught quick on that what was going on. So I believe you have a lot of stories to tell, and this little podcast will have just teeny tiny uh, fragment of everything. But I'm gonna still ask you the same question, like why house music? What was it in the house music genre that kind of touched you?
no, I think it's the fact that it was just something different, something that um, as a kid, I was experimenting with everything. So I was listening to everything from, Depeche Mode and Run DMC and Prince. I'm a huge Prince fan. Michael
Oh,
Jackson, of course.
me too.
Um, and when I heard house music, and of course I was young, I was a really little kid. I mean, I was listening to it on the radio, right? WBMX was our like main station. I think like it might have been the first radio station to actually play house music, right? So I'm listening to like the Farley Funk and Keiths or Farley Jackmaster Funk at now. Um, the Steve Hurleys, the Hot Mix Five, hearing about Frankie Knuckles,
Mm.
um, and it was just like as soon as I heard like a lot of those records like Time to Jack and Jack My Body and Jamie Principle's Your Love and a lot of those records, it was just like, what is this? Why am I just now hearing this? And I'm all in.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just that thing. And then like, of course, I was always kind of like in the disco as well, because disco was kind of like that segue, disco, new wave, punk was always kind of like that beginning stage. But once I heard those house records, and I always, you know, I forget some, so don't torch me for this. You know, but it's once I heard those records, it was just like I'm all in. I don't know what it is, but I'm all in.
Yeah.
And when I was told like, hey, this is house music, like this is the new thing. This is like what everybody's on right now. Uh, I just jumped on it and never really let it go.
Yeah. And I think this is exactly what happens. You describe it very well, because I had very similar feeling. It just touched me somehow. It just feels right, so to say. You vibe to it and so on. And I love the fact when you were already describing some of the influences. The next question would have been that what are the artists that have influenced you musically and in your DJing and in your productions? And now you mentioned many other artists from various genres, like Prince. I'm a huge fan as well, and Depeche Mode and so forth. And I feel that that's a great thing to have. I often say to my guests who are here, when I hear the influences, that they have nice, great appetite for different kind of genres of music. And I think it's just a beautiful thing because it keeps this production and the DJ and everything always exciting when you have that
Yeah.
great variety and interest towards different styles. But could you now explore a bit more about your influences? So, who are maybe the main artists that have influenced you the most?
I can just right off the top of the head, Prince was always kind of like that person. You can tell by the way he produced and the way he, like arranged music that he, you can hear the little, like you can hear the perfection and the imperfection at the same time, right? Like you can hear where you could tell he made a mistake, and he was like, "Let's go with it." In my production, I'm kind of like that. Like I include a lot of the imperfections because it shows that the art doesn't always have to be perfect. It's perfect to whoever is digesting it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I listen to, you know, I listen to Prince's stuff, and I'm just like, oh my god, like it there is nothing better, right? Of course, I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan. My middle name is Michael, as you can see, my George, last name Jackson. I'm
Yeah.
a name Randy and a cousin named Latoya. So, those two, like the biggest influences to me. I loved like, oh man, like I guess like I'm a 70s kid, but I'm more of an 80s baby when it comes to music.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd listen to everything from like, Madonna, uh, like I said, Depeche. I like Bruce Springsteen. I mean, going back into some of the, like, I like the Beatles. But if we're talking a little bit more about like house music, I was a huge fan of like Marshall Jefferson, huge fan,
Yeah.
a huge fan of Chippy, a huge fan of Jamie Principle, a major fan of like Farley and Steve Hurley. Steve Hurley being, I went to grammar school with his younger sister. He's from the same neighborhood as I am, right? So I was probably even more of a Steve Hurley fan than I was of a lot of the others, just because he was in the neighborhood, and he was somebody that, you can kind of say like, oh, dude, I walked past his house the other day. One of my ex-girlfriends, but yeah, I mean, like everybody's influenced me. Like I'm still a newbie to the production game. I really started playing around with production back in like 2018. That's why I always say DJ first.
Yeah.
So yeah, those guys like really kind of inspired and touched a lot of what I do. And let me not forget Jesse Saunders, because I mean he kind of laid the blueprint down for like what house music does look like.
True.
And then, like the actual records that came about that actually are considered in a lot of people's, in my opinion, are the official house records.
Yeah.
They all kind of like, made it possible for, I always say, like a little kid from 87th Street, Southside Chicago, to and make a name for myself. So
True. Yeah, I have to say also, and sending a special shout out to Steve and Jesse. I totally agree with you. They are instrumental when it comes to the sound of the house music. Also Marshall Jefferson, and I have had also personally an honor to be releasing on Steve's and Jesse's labels. So that, you know, I totally feel you on that. And the Chicago house is all where it started from, and Chicago is still keeping it very much alive and vivid and always active when it comes to the house music sound. So that is a beautiful place for you to be and explore and do your thing and the DJing. So now if I ask this question, I know that it's gonna be a bit unfair now because you're a DJ, and whenever I ask this question from DJs, it's almost like a mission impossible, because usually I have been asking 3 top tracks, but that's way too so little. So maybe in your case, you could maybe mention either maybe 3 top albums or 3 top producers or 3 top DJs for you that you never get tired of listening. Or if you're able to name some of those kind of tracks that always go with you wherever you go, they're kind of somehow close to your heart.
Oh man, that is always a tough one.
That's a tough one, yeah.
I mean, because you know what it is it's tough because it's so many great producers out there,
Yeah.
so many great tracks out there, and the one thing that I always say is like I'm a fan of the music more so than of the names.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of people get mixed up in the names of everybody and then don't listen for the up and comers. I'm still an up and comer, so I'm hoping people are listening for me. But I would say producers. I want to go with the producers that are my go-to people as of right now.
All right. That's a great way.
Okay. So I can say anything that Terry Hunter makes is pretty much a go for me. Like the crate is extensive, right? Similarly, Koflo, newer producer. I mean, as far as to me, right? Yeah. But the production is spectacular. Pretty much everything he does, I'm on TrackSource or wherever buying it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see. I kind of want to go with 5 though, because
yes, you can. We're free to do that.
Marshall Jefferson doesn't drop as much, but anything he makes, I'm buying.
Yeah.
Another one would be Eric Cupper. Of course, he was, part of the Frankie Knuckles Death Mix. Like he did a spectacular remix for me, but I don't just do it for that reason. But like that camp just came out with so much great music, and one thing that I know Eric is on a roll. He is not missing at all. Every record he puts out, I buy. And man, that's so tough.
That's 4.
yeah. So
I know this is a tough question, and meanwhile, I also want to say to our audience that please do pay attention to these picks, because these are, I mean, all top-notch quality. You really can't go wrong if you want to know about great amazing house music sound, good quality, timeless pieces. Those are the producers, artists to go to, definitely. So shout out to all of them.
And really, as of late, this guy has not missed. So as you can see, I'm kind of like mixing up like iconic artists and newer artists.
Yeah.
I'm doing
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah.
There's some newer cats out here that are just amazing. But Ezel, um, Felice, that's his name.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing keyboard player, amazing producer. Him and Rona Ray have just bombarded my hard drive as of late.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a great producer, and I'm hoping to work with him more. But yeah, he's amazing guy and amazing producer.
Absolutely. And I also personally, I'm a great fan of Rona Ray's. I love her sound, it's amazing. And some people just, they have very distinctive sound and so on. And that's, I think, is always a great thing when you can stand out with your unique style as a vocalist as well. So very great pick. So people, don't miss these gems that he was just like, sharing with you. If you are, let's say, new about when it comes to the house music and learning about the house music culture. So those were absolutely great picks. Thank you for sharing. Now,
I also don't want to forget about like I got to throw one more. I'm sorry. Don't kill me. Joe Smooth is an amazing Joe Smooth.
Oh,
some immaculate work with me, and I mean, let's just say like top 5 all-time records of house music history with Promised Land. I mean, anything he makes, I'm buying once again, and he's my friend. Like I probably don't have to buy it, but I do it anyway.
yes.
Amazing guy. So
He's a legend. He's a legend. One of the legends, definitely there. And shout out to him as well. Now, I don't know if it's gonna get any easier for you now, because the next question, let's explore this a little bit differently. First of all, I'm gonna ask, so you said that you got into production, was it 2018, something like this, if I heard right? Yeah. So what led you to the production, first of all, after all those years in DJ?
So, okay, I'm gonna make a long story short.
Okay.
So I did play, like I worked in radio for a number of years, and I was doing, playing like hip hop and R&B as well.
Yeah.
So like I have that under my belt. Played around the world, messing around with hip hop and R&B. But anyway, I was doing a ton of mixtapes, and one of the things that we would do is called blend tapes, right? So it would be like, instrumental or acapella over instrumentals, just make the records sound kind of new. I kind of stumbled on production doing that. And one of the things I did was I did, so there was this record, the This Is America record by Childish Gambino. And I did what I called at the time a blend of it over a house music beat that I just kind of like sampled. And a label hit me up, Campo Alegre Productions. They hit me up and was just like, we need to put this out. And I'm like, dude, it's not really a song. It's just something I did. He was like, yeah, we need to put it out. And he's like, dude, this is going to make you a known producer. And I'm kind of like, I'm not a producer, I'm a DJ. We went over for days about how we were going to do it, if we were going to even do it at all. But yeah, that kind of led me to it. I went on and agreed to it. And from there, I just got the bug, right? Like I heard people playing it. And it was just like, man, maybe I like this. I like this feeling. I like going into a club and people actually playing stuff that I made, even though it wasn't as like, to me, it wasn't a real production, but people were like, dude, now you're going to have to really consider yourself a producer and learn more about it and push yourself to, like one up each track that you do.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it started. And I haven't really looked back since.
Well, it's a beautiful kind of like organic story in that sense that you had it. I think it sounds to me that you had it all the time in you, and definitely you must have it all the time, in you since you are DJ. And what we are doing, we are always creating. As a DJ, we are making those blends and mixes and so on. So we have that creative side there going on. It's kind of really something that can occur naturally. So I think it's very nice transition that what you are describing there, that it's something that already came from here and you were feeling it, you were vibing to it and probably jamming to it as well. And and then, um, experiencing how the people responded to that. So it's a beautiful compliment also from the audience and from the label to reach out to this particular track and really to get you going on with the production side of
I would have
your
never,
journey.
yeah, I never looked at it like that. I have buddies that are, budding producers, and they're like, I want to do this, I want to do that. What do you think of this? And I'm kind of like, man, you guys are great. Like I always say, I have buddies of mine that are around me that are better producers than I am, but they're pushing me kind of, right? They're like, you take the lead in this, and then we'll kind of follow your lead. And I'm like, wow, this is, I just wanted to play records. I didn't want to produce, but I'll take it.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm very happy that you did. And I know that our audience is too. So looking forward to hear more and more of those productions. And now, so that was an intro to the actual question that I had in my mind, which was not the easy one, but still I'm going to ask it because, you know. The thing is, I know when we create our own stuff, it is a bit hard to pick some particular there, but still, is there some certain track that is a bit more special to you, and maybe why, out of your productions?
Okay, so that one would be um that's a really hard one because like they all have some sort of special kind of place. Um the first one was, I mean, the okay, so this one was I did it with Terry Dexter, right? Um and I'd always told like works in the music. So I always told my wife, like, I always wanted to work with, Terry Dexter on a track.
Yeah.
And, I remember her from my R&B and hip hop days. And she was like, well, why can't that happen? Why don't you just hit her up? And I'm like, she doesn't know who I am. Like, I'm nobody, right? So she actually had a friend that knew her, and she reached out to the friend connected us all, and we worked on this record called Come Find Me. That's the record that actually, once we put it out, Eric Cupper jumped on the remix, and it just took off. But that one holds a real special place because like myself and Terry Dexter and my wife Marlo really connected like heavily, and I think, knowing with that being said, like we're able to work on this new one, which I was just kind of mixing down.
Yeah.
And we know for like that there's going to be a future in working together quite a bit. So that one really holds a super special place in my heart. It was also my second record on Category One Records, which I got the hat on. So
yeah.
and that was the one that really kind of like catapulted like the name, I think. So
And that's a beautiful story as well. And people, again, watching this podcast, please do check those amazing tracks out. As you know, this is a very short kind of interview, so I only have two questions, little questions left, but the first one is quite something for sure, very interesting to the audience. If you think about your long career in DJing and in music production now as well, what would you say that is some of very important highlight in your career so far? Some highlight moment that.
one of my biggest highlights is playing in Amsterdam for ADE.
Yeah.
Like I said, a lot of the production stuff is great, but like as a DJ, I love being in front of a crowd. I love being in front of people. Even now, starting to become like playing in front of cameras, of course, after the pandemic. But yeah, playing in Amsterdam kind of like catapulted me to playing in London and Reading, UK. So I'm it was kind of like the start of me being able to branch out and play in other countries, and that's just a great feeling.
That's a wonderful thing, and ADE is an amazing place to visit during those that month of October, and in Amsterdam, beautiful place. There's so much going on during that time. I can imagine the vibe, you know. So I'm very happy for you to be able to experience that. And people, by the way, go and visit ADE if you have a chance. Amazing DJs
That's
there
awesome.
from around the world. A lot of people from States as well, and so on. So now uh, we are gonna continue to a mini mix part very soon. But if somebody now wants to know more about you and about your releases, about especially also your DJ gigs and everything, where can people find you in social media?
Yeah, so I'm really active on like of course Facebook and Instagram. Uh, and starting to become more active on TikTok, but it's all under DJ Sweet Georgie. You can get all my, like a lot of information on what I'm doing, production that's coming out, um, places I might be DJing, little funny stuff that I might be doing in my life that has nothing to do with music as well. Um, but yeah, you can find me pretty much there. Instagram as well. Well, I said Instagram, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter/X, whatever they call it now. It's all under DJ.
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm still calling it Twitter.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's
and
hard to change that habit.
yeah, I
All
know.
right.
If you're going on like Track Source or Beatport,
Mhm.
you can find me under Sweet Georgie, or because I changed my name recently, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It was a whole ordeal because there's just a lot of either George Jacksons that are doing production.
Mm.
Uh, one of my buddies, he actually works with CC Peniston. His name is George Jackson as well.
Ah, yeah.
Or I also went under G Spot.
Yeah.
So it was like George G Spot Jackson or Sweet Georgie. You can find me on like wherever, the track source, Beatport, iTunes, or whatever they call it now, Spotify.
Yeah, Spotty.
The most focusing on, which is under Sweet Georgie.
So, people, you can find him from social media, from digital music platforms, and follow him. Please support his music by buying the legal copies, of course. Go to listen him live when if you have a chance. And I want to ask quickly, if I have a moment, just quickly, if there's something, what new that is going to be maybe released soon, some project that we can look forward to, maybe any hints?
Yeah, so we got a couple of tracks. One is like an ode to the old school Chicago beat tracks. Is called Beat Tracks, and that's going to be under Campo Alegre production. And then after that, we're myself and Terry Dexter will be coming out with a track called "You Saved Me," and it's once again kind of like an ode to like how house music saved our lives. It's going to be an amazing track. That one might touch a few hearts. So that's what we're hoping for.
Yes, for sure it will, and I can't wait to hear those releases as well and play them in my sets. I absolutely love the Chicago sound throughout all the years, how it has been evolving, and I'm just a great fan. And again, I thank you for this short and sweet little interview, giddy, or snapshot, like I call it. And again, sending you many blessings and lots of love straight from Helsinki, Finland to the Chicago over there. Mwah.
Love from here too. Sending all the love and thank yous from Chicago out to Finland.
Thank you so much. And now we continue to the mini mix. Bye bye.